Everyone, I'm Diya Pandey of GSTEM. Welcome to the first ever Girls in STEM recorded interview. We hope that by sharing the unique experiences of women in various STEM fields, we can help bridge the gap and make science more accessible to girls everywhere. Today is a very special day because we are welcoming Fola S, who is a medical student at New York Medical College, a branch of the Toro University system. How are you doing today, Fola?
I'm good, thank you for asking. How are you?
Oh, I'm good as well. My day is even better now because I'm
Oh,
talking
thank
to you.
you.
So I would just like to thank you first and foremost for taking the time to talk with us. We at GSTEM really appreciate it.
No worries.
Okay,
I'm here
so
to help.
to kick off this interview, would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself, like where you're from, your educational background, and basically why you were interested in science and medicine in the first place?
Absolutely. So I'm from Toronto, Canada, originally from Nigeria.
Ooh,
Yeah,
that's so cool.
yes, and I studied at the University of Western Ontario in London, Ontario, Canada. And I completed my degree this year, and I got a bachelor's of medical science with a specialization in interdisciplinary medical science and medical cell biology. So my interest in medicine is kind of all over the place, but my mom is a nurse, so I've been exposed to the world of medicine from a very young age. And I've always had a strong, or I've always been a strong student in the sciences. And I always pretty much assumed a leadership role in the positions I had in high school and university. And that, coupled with my interest in women's health and the social determinants of health, really made me pursue medicine.
Oh, that sounds like a great path to start on. So like sort of branching off of that, when you were in high school, what resources or programs sort of helped you pursue a career in medicine? And are there any activities that you would recommend to high school girls interested in STEM?
Yeah, so when I was in high school, I tried to do as many leadership programs as I could. Specifically, I did a program where I basically introduced ninth grade students to the high school environment when I was a senior. And I basically had a relationship with a ninth grade student for the whole year. And I really love that because it kind of introduced me to the world of having a mentee and me being a mentor. And I think that's really important. Medical schools love to see that leadership aspect in your application. And I would also encourage anyone who's interested in medicine to kind of diversify their experiences, to not necessarily just do leadership positions related to medicine, but do things that have a diverse range of leadership roles. So you can do something that you like specifically or something that you've never done before. But medical schools definitely like to see that diversity in your application.
Oh, so it's better to be a well-rounded student instead of
Exactly.
focusing on one thing. Okay,
Exactly.
that's really helpful
Yeah.
because I know a lot of people are like only science, and I can't.
No, yes, yes. I feel like a lot of people are mistaken when they think that because, um, as a physician, you have to have a diverse range of knowledge, right? And as a medical student too, they want to see that you know other things beside medicine because, like you said, it makes you a well-rounded applicant and a well-rounded doctor.
Definitely, definitely. So basically, when I asked some of my peers who are interested in science what they want to know from a future physician like you, they have a lot of concerns about the cost of a medical education. So what would you say to girls who might refrain from pursuing a medical career due to fears about like expenses?
I would tell them that medicine is 100% worth it and that they shouldn't let the cost of education deter their dreams. Um, there are different programs that the AMC provides to kind of subsidize the costs for applying to medical school and also writing the MCAT. I'm sure you know what the MCAT is.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah. So, given someone who has a low socioeconomic status, the AMC will accommodate for that because they want to see everyone be able to pursue their dreams. They also have some medical schools also have a supplemental application fee, and they can also waive that if you're of low socioeconomic status and cannot afford the many fees for the schools that you've applied to. Um, and I would also say that many schools, once you've been accepted, offer scholarship programs, and you can also receive financial aid from the government. And many schools also have a financial advisor. And the financial advisor is there to basically help you plan your career and plan your expenses while you're in medical school so that you'll be able to kind of pay off your loans once you're done.
Okay, well,
So,
that's really helpful because I know like if you just look at the tuition up front, it seems super daunting. But
Yes,
yep, I think more young girls have to take into account like the other factors that go into the cost, that
exactly.
financial aid and like a steady payment plan. Like also
Exactly.
after the
Exactly.
years starting, like
Yes,
checks come
exactly.
in less daunting.
Exactly. And my point is that kind of focus on the next step ahead and not the bigger picture. Because if you focus on the bigger picture, it can kind of be overwhelming. But
Definitely.
once you focus on the next step, like, okay, now I need to get this, I need to do this, I need to write my MCAT, I need to apply, it's kind of more palatable and easier to digest rather than focusing on everything at once.
Okay, that's like really it sort of calms me down a little bit because I know like if you think about all the stress that medical students have to go through, like the financial burden of an education is just like adding
I
on to an
know,
already
for
huge pile
sure,
of responsibilities. So it's really helpful that you're
for
discussing
sure.
that with us. Also, do you face? I know that you're Nigerian. You sort of told us to us in the beginning. Do you face any difficulties as a woman of color in the medical field? And if so, do you have any tips on how to overcome these hurdles? And also, what can we do as like individuals and as like society in general to alleviate some of the existing biases and discrimination in science and especially medicine?
Wow, that is a loaded but important question.
Yeah,
I will say that there is a lack of representation of women in color in the medical field, that's for sure. And with that, it's often to find mentors who kind of understand the obstacles and challenges that I may face on a day to day basis, and to basically overcome those hurdles of discrimination and profiling that I may experience. I constantly reassure myself that I am worthy and privileged of being in the field of medicine, and that I'm here by my merit and hard work and determination. And that will essentially make me succeed and be the doctor that I want to be at the end of the day. And I think it's also very important to have a support system. I would say that my support system is my family and my friends. And it's just nice to have an identity outside of medicine because they truly understand you for you and not for your academic
that's
accomplishments. Yeah.
that's beautiful actually. Like to hear that coming from you. Like I know like I've heard from people, there's a little bit of drama in school, like especially during college admissions season and like this time period, like you can hear in the halls some people are like, oh, she just got in because of her race and they have a quota to fill.
Mhm.
But in actuality, it's harder considering like there aren't as many in some fields there aren't as many women of color or women
Exactly.
with. And it's just like reassuring to know that like you are so accomplished, right? And your accomplishments are what help you
Exactly.
succeed and
Exactly.
you deserve to be in
Exactly.
where you are right now.
Exactly. And I will say that in order to alleviate the existing biases and discrimination in science, there needs to be more representation of people of color in general.
Definitely.
Yes, and the journey to medicine essentially starts from now, where you guys are at in your life, high school, and understand that your journey to medicine is a marathon and not a sprint. Um, and that there will be obstacles. However, with your hard work and determination, you can overcome them. I won't say that my journey to medicine was easy, but I still persisted and I had the tenacity to overcome those challenges. And it's 100% possible to increase the representation of women of color in medicine. But if I can do it, you can do it too.
Oh, that was a great analogy. Thank you so much for that. Also, here's another question. How would you describe your experience as a medical student? And is there anything that surprised you in particular about your experience? Hold on, I'm going to try to add Ismat as well into the conversation. But you can get started on
Okay.
answering the.
It's okay. I would say my experience as a medical student has been difficult, but rewarding. Difficult in the sense of maintaining a balanced work life, day to day experience as a person outside of medicine, but also as a medical student, and not being completely consumed by my academics. But I would say it's rewarding in the sense that I'm learning the intricacies of the human body. And I'm gaining that knowledge that will essentially be able will benefit me in the future and can potentially save someone's life someday.
Yeah, hey.
Hey,
Hi. We finished some of like our more heavy questions, so right now we're moving on to like some fun questions. So what I was thinking is, if you could go back in time, like maybe right before or during admissions, is there something you'd like to tell yourself or some advice that you'd like to give yourself to sort of like aid you in the process that might have helped you?
Some advice that I would like to give myself. I think I would tell myself to calm down. I think during the application process, it was a very stressful, torturous time.
Definitely.
Because waiting back, hearing, you never knew like what day you would get something back. And I think that kind of also affected me in my academics because I was so consumed by the application process, not knowing that I still had, assignments and exams that I had to study for in my final year. So yeah, that was something I think something I really struggled with, not just maintaining that balance. I was just completely consumed by the application process, not knowing that New York Medical College would give me a chance eventually. So yeah, I would definitely tell myself to just relax. Like, yeah.
That's like senioritis for you, right?
Yeah.
It's like it's the real world, but it's also like your studies, like your daily work.
Exactly. And I will say that a lot of people didn't necessarily have the same experience I had, especially at New York Medical College. A lot of my classmates are older in the sense that, they've had multiple gap years, 2, 3, 4-year gap years. But I applied in my third year of undergrad. So I just went straight into medical school after undergrad. So a lot of people didn't necessarily have to deal with that balance between schoolwork and the application cycle. They were just completely focused on the application cycle, whereas I had to kind of find that balance between the two.
That's also reassuring to know because you don't have to like jump in to a medical school immediately. You can sort of weigh your options. And I know during gap years, like people find experience in like lab work is a big one. Also volunteering at a hospital, if that's that I think can help you sort of also decide whether or not you think that medicine
Absolutely.
So it's not just like woo, but you can sort of branch out.
Absolutely.
That's great to hear actually. So is there anything else like you'd like to share about your journey, like what you're doing right now?
So I have a lot of things that are currently in the works. I'm actually planning to start a cardiology interest group at New York Medical College.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I've just, I've learning about the cardiovascular system and physiology, and just understanding the intricacies of how the body works and how important the heart is has really kind of encouraged me to start that because we don't have a club like that. So I'm in the process of getting that started with the student advisor at my school and another friend of mine. So we'll basically be the co-presidents, and now we're just looking for members.
That's so cool. Yeah. I think that's a really great venture to go into because clubs, like they're really helpful. Like GSTEM is a club too, so that's really nice. Let me know how that goes.
Absolutely.
Shoot me a Skype message.
Absolutely.
I can help you come up with puns.
Absolutely.
Your heart, something like that.
Absolutely. I love that. I'm also in the process of applying for some summer programs and summer internships. I think NYU has a couple that I'm definitely interested in. I think those are orthopedic surgery related and emergency medicine related. And just basically diversifying areas of medicine I'm potentially interested in. So that's what I've been basically doing. But we'll see how that goes for next summer.
I definitely think that you'll be able to get a summer. They can see it immediately. Like, the club going on, like your educational background is like really impressive. I believe in you.
Thank you.
So yeah. I guess that sort of concludes our interview, our very first GSTEM recorded interview. I would just like to say it's been like really enlightening to talk to you about your experience, and that sort of like also simultaneously calmed me down at some aspects and like
I'm happy
encouraged on others because it's just very, very rewarding or it's very helpful to see how rewarding this journey is for you. And it's really great to sort of bridge the gap between girls who might not know anyone in science or anyone in the medical field, and by introducing them to people like you who are already like in this process. It's just it's very comforting, and it's
Oh,
nice
thank
to know that,
you.
like,
I'm happy to hear that.
yeah.
And you know what? I'm here to help you guys because I understand that when I was in your position, I didn't necessarily have someone I could ask these questions to.
Mhm.
So my role now is to help young girls be able to achieve their goals um, in pursuing medicine.
That's beautiful. That's so
That is beautiful.
well.
I did have one question, if you guys
Um,
don't mind.
yeah,
Oh,
for
Um,
sure.
do you ever regret not taking a gap year? Do you think you would have had more fun or something if you had
Mm,
that 1 year to wait and, you know, just breathe between classes?
mm. That is a very fantastic question because I find myself constantly dwelling on that. Um, I think there are positives and negatives to taking a gap year. Um, but in my case, I lean towards kind of going into medical school or applying to medical school in my third year, mainly because a lot of the material I learned in third and fourth year is the material I'm learning now in medical school. So I've taken physiology, I've taken anatomy, I've taken histology in my third and fourth year of undergrad. So actually doing it now in medical school, the information is fresh, and I find myself, not really struggling like my peers. I don't know if that's like a bad thing to say, but um, a lot of the information is very fresh, and I'm able to grasp it very easily. However, I also find myself sometimes thinking if things would have been different if I did take a gap year because I didn't have that time to kind of just breathe and take time for me. Like I only had like 2 months to relax from the end of undergrad to the start of medical school. But let's say I had a year or even 2 years to just kind of reassure myself that medicine is something I really wanted to do and kind of just take that break for myself. I may have had a better start. And I have no idea. But the way my cards were dealt and the way life happened to be, I'm here now.
Yep.
And it just happened.
And you
So
seem to be doing very well for yourself, so
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
sure it was the right decision for
yeah.
you.
It honestly, it really depends on the person. I know some people that were like, nope, I can't. I had to take gap year. I had to, which is fine. Some people are just like that. But for me, I knew that I wanted to do it. And at the end of the day, I told myself that I would have learned the same thing this year compared to next year or the year after that. So what difference does it make doing it now or next year?
Yeah,
So yeah, so it happened and I'm here now. So
exactly.
It's
That's
really based on
awesome.
the individual.
yeah, it's completely based on the individual. Everyone's experience and journey to medical school is so different. And if I told you guys, if I went into depth about my obstacles and challenges that I had to overcome, you would be here for an hour. So it's truly different, and I just want you guys to understand, why you want to go into medicine, your own personal reasons. Don't do it for anybody else, but why you want to go into medicine, and make sure you're completely sure that you want to do it, because it is difficult, but it's very rewarding.
Well, thank you so much. This was really helpful, and I'm sure it'll help a lot of other young girls as well. Once we distribute it on our website, and through other programs, hopefully we can reach girls in other schools, which would throughout the city, which would be, our main goal for this year. Um, just this was amazing. You've been great.
So,
Thank you so much.
thank you.
So I guess that really concludes our first ever GSTEM interview. Fola, you've been great. Thank you so much. And I can't wait to hear about your experience. Like once you finish medical school, like you can like talk like even before that, but especially like looking forward to when you finish medical school, like
Thank
when you
you.
get
And I'm
learning.
looking forward to when you guys get in.
Oh,
Maybe you'll be our instructor by then.
Maybe.
that would be incredible. So thank you so much.
No worries, no worries.